Thank you very much, Madam Deputy Speaker. Along with other members here, I took part in the debates on sodium valproate in 2017 and vaginal mesh in 2018, and welcome that Baroness Cumberledge's inquiry covered both of these issues, along with Primidos, a hormonal pregnancy test, which, like valproate, contributed to congenital abnormalities. At the time of our debates, it was clear that the same underlying issues had driven all three disasters, and that there were four main features: a failure of licensing and regulation in the first place, particularly with regards implantable devices like vaginal mesh; a lack of accurate information, so doctors could discuss the risks of these drugs and devices and allow patients to give genuine, informed consent; a weak and poorly publicised system for doctors or patients to report adverse events which would result in action; and finally, the failure of doctors to listen to the affected women who were raising concerns. The report makes 9 recommendations with 2 main aims: the need to provide remedial support and redress for the women and children affected, and how to prevent something similar happening ever again in the future. The report also captures the experiences of women who've been campaigning on these issues for years, which are well summarised on the report's contents page. No one is listening. The patient's voice dismissed. I was never told. The failure of informed consent. Considering the evolution of these disasters, I would perhaps reverse these 2 points, as the problem started with the failure of regulators to ensure these drugs and devices were safe and provide accurate information on which women and their doctors could base treatment decisions. I'll focus my remarks on vaginal mesh, as there were additional issues associated with their licensing and use. In particular, the original trials comparing mesh with traditional abdominal operations didn't have long enough follow-up. This meant that while immediate surgical complications, like bladder injury, were seen to reduce from 1 in 10 to 1 in 100, the later mesh complications were not identified. This led to the original vaginal mesh tapes being defined as low-risk devices, and gynecologists switching to this approach as it actually appeared safer for patients. The whole issue was compounded by the fact that after that initial research, the Federal Drug Administration in America licensed all similar tapes without further trials, despite the fact that their design and how they were inserted at surgery changed significantly. The products they passed then largely got accepted by the European Medicines Agency and the Medicines and Healthcare Products Regulatory Agency. Because late problems such as muscle or nerve damage weren't recognised, gynecologists didn't even have the accurate information to discuss benefits and risks with patients. The Scottish Government was the first to advise against routine use of vaginal mesh in 2014 and established a registry in 2017, but there have been no vaginal meshes inserted since 2018. It has accepted all the recommendations that are under devolved control and is in the process of appointing an independent patient safety commissioner. The UK government has brought in the Medicines and Medical Devices Act, but didn't take the opportunity to establish a registry of all implanted devices to allow long-term audit and patient recall if necessary in the future. There are risks and complications with any operation, and they should be presented clearly and openly to allow patients to make an informed choice of what is important for them. Dr. Wael Agur, a well-known gynecologist involved in the MESH campaigns, works in Ayrshire and Arran, my local health board, and working closely with patient groups, developed a Scottish patient decision aid for patients with incontinence, which was praised in the report. However, there is a need to get consensus on such decision aids and ensure they're actually used routinely. Lack of patient information was also central to the issue of sodium valproate. While it is an excellent drug to control epilepsy, a dangerous condition which kills over 1,000 people a year, Sodium valproate has caused developmental delay in thousands of babies and birth defects ranging from cleft lip to spina bifida. While the first case reports were published many decades ago, the connection was missed due to a lack of reporting. Even now, as we've heard today, women and their children are still in danger due to not being given the right information about their medication. All three disasters highlight the failure of the current yellow card system. And while the MHRA plan to introduce AI in the future to recognise common patterns and themes, the adverse events need to be reported in the first place. It's about reporting any adverse event with a possible link to a new drug or any congenital defect in a baby whose mother has received medication during pregnancy. Publicity is also needed to inform patients that they too can complete a yellow card and report concerns directly themselves. A year on from the publication of this report, we need to hear from the government how they plan to take forward Baroness Cumberledge's recommendations, particularly around reform of the licensing and regulation of new drugs and devices and the system to detect and act on adverse reports. But the government also need to lay out how they plan to support the women affected through the provision of removal or remedial surgery and financial redress for the women who've suffered so much. Without their forceful campaigning, even more women would now be suffering. Financial compensation is also crucial for families affected by the use of Primidos or sodium valproate, so they can provide long-term support for their children. As highlighted by the Right Honourable Member for Maidenhead, at the core of all three disasters has been the failure of doctors to listen to women or to patronise them, dismiss them when they raise concerns. So above all, these three medical disasters should be discussed in medical schools to teach student doctors, the doctors who will look after women in the future, the importance of actually listening to all their patients.